Twist. Nightmare Night. Lace. Oh, hey, I'm sorry we never did get introduced. I'm Lace. You look good in a suit. Twist. Actually, Lace, we still need to ask for candy. We don't have enough to sport with mint yet.
Charmed, Miss Lace. Westwood is currently chaperoning Miss Starshot. Wait, am I mistaken, or are you disguised as Wildcard?
Why, yes, I'm a little surprised you recognize him.
It's our business to know things. I am highly amused and suggest you find Westwood. As for you, young filly, please take some extra candy for Mint.
That's super. Thank you so much, sir. Let me guess. Is Westwood being a butt like usual?
That is indeed correct. He is chaperoning Miss Starshot for reasons of candy. And while I admit the costumes are amusing, they are very unwise choices.
If they're so unwise, why didn't you stop them from leaving?
Young filly, have some more candy, but do not delay. I hear the Royal Bakery is handing out baked goods.
Yay! Let's go, Auntie Lace.
For reasons of candy. Yep, those are good reasons.
That sounds like you, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like going trick-or-treating? Yeah? Okay. Is that gelding knife still up on Sweet Cream's wall?
Westwood is a trained and competent guard pony. I need not worry about him. However, Miss Starshot is with him, and while her bubble is strong, it would not protect against traumatization. Miss Lace's observation is valid. I should make contact. Attention, Westwood. Must I remind you of Sir Pendragon's predilection for acorns? He visited the library in a squirrel costume as if searching for such. I have concerns given Miss Starshot's costume.
Night. What if I give me something sweet to bite?
I guess this is me. We just ran into him. He tried to pounce Starshot, bounced off. Her bubble looked at me and fainted. It was cute. Really, I guess Sweet Cream was too scary for him.
Run.
Oh, my.
Your chest is talking.
They should be completely fine.
Run! It's Nightmare Cream!
Would you like more candy?
Jack says yes. No, you don't want more candy? Starfish. Trick or treat. I'm doing this right. No. Well, how about trick or treat?
Trick or treat? I do not believe I have heard it such.
How about his trick and treat?
No, I'm afraid that the traditional phrase begins with Nightmare Night.
Ninja Finish!
Finish.
Hey now, smoke bombs are permitted within the library. Desist with the chicanery.
Ninja yoink.
Put me down. I understand that pranks are tradition, but this has gone too far.
Ninja, oops, I grabbed the wrong thing. Time to ditch the pony and go back for the candy bowl.
Apology accepted. Wait, what?
And now for lots of crystals. Remember me, Susie, Queen of the Vampire Ponies. Queen Chrysalis, is that you, my old friend? Remember me, Susie, Queen of the Vampire Ponies? We both scare every pony in Ponyville. Hello, Queen Chrysalis. I'm really upset.
Well, our guesses were wrong in our attempts to secure Canterlot. We were not without our victories. Cooperation between the EOH Task Force, Her Royal Highness Princess Cadence, and Guard Captain Shining Armor led to repelling the invading force, now known as WCP-3908. All that remained of the case was paperwork.
Lantern Trotton, wearing his royal knight armor, and salutes the two archivists, Adamant, Westwood. Anything to report?
We suspect that WCP-3908-1, the Changeling Queen, met Miss Triple Swirl in Appaloosa, learned from her, left her in the desert, and took her place. But, given WCP-3908 imitates but does not take clothing, she was unaware of the train tickets.
Perhaps something in the body was added to make it heavier. Are you certain the autopsy team fully checked the body?
The body found in the Everfree Forest matches a missing pony's report in Appaloosa. It is likely that WCP-3908-1 and the victim traveled together, and she made the mystery Pegasus tracks.
I've come here to see just what's been going on. Who knocked out my dog? What creature has escaped Tartarus? And why has no pony told me of this? I'm more powerful and evil than you, Queen Chrysalis.
Still disguised as Triple Swirl, she fed off Staunchion. However, following him to Tartarus led to her brief discovery in combat with guards in Cerberus. WCP-3908-1 returned to Ponyville without a food source.
What you Chrysalis, Queen of the Changelings, what are you doing here in Canterlot?
Guard Captain Shining Armor reports that he tried visiting his sister, but as she was returning Cerberus, they were forced to leave a note instead. His sister, the EOH Task Force Magic, reports she never saw this note. Train logs report one Triple Swirl bound for Canterlot.
Been busy since the whole Queen Chrysalis incident. Found clues about when she changed places with Princess Miyamore. Hello, Card. I'm one of Princess Cadence's bridesmaids.
At Canterlot, WCP-3908-1 befriended the royal couple and as Triple Swirl became the Mayor of Honor. A reconnaissance done, WCP-3908-1 notified her hive before imprisoning the princess.
Hey, Queen Chrysalis, you stole my idea to take over Canterlot. That's not part of the deal, Chrysalis.
Disguised as the princess, she gained power over Guard Captain Shining Armor and rapidly drained him of power. Were it not for EOH Task Force member Magic, the charade would have persisted until Shining Armor could no longer hold the shield.
Oh, hello, Queen Chrysalis. Remember me, Susie, Queen of the Vampire Ponies? And why, you're scaring ponies. That's my job. I'm ruled of my own empire, nightmare horror home of the Vampire Ponies. We're Queen Chrysalis changing.
WCP-3908, including WCP-3908-1, were last seen corporeally ejected from Canterlot. Teams have been sent to find and track them, but trajectories indicate they likely landed far from civilization. In their weakened state, they should no longer pose a threat to any pony. For now.
For now, y'all.
Dun, dun, dun. Hello, everybody. Did I miss the wedding? And why their changelings took over everything in Canterlot?
With order restored, the royal wedding proceeded. Everyone was scanned, but I did not attend.
When you had more griffins and less ponies in the guard, the changeling attack would be a failure.
Most guard ponies were not in Canterlot during the attack due to their duty to evacuate the city. This minimized casualties as most civilians were secure with streets and buildings mostly bare. Most of those that were in the streets were wedding attendees that were separated from their groom's pony escorts.
Wouldn't a sure sign of possession or identity theft be if a person was acting strangely out of character, or a certain personality trait was missing, or appearing out of sorts, but not complaining of any illness?
Unfortunately, the few ponies that knew HOH Princess Cadence were in Canterlot, and Guard Captain Shining Armor was under control of WCP-398-1. Fortunately, EOH Task Force Magic detected something amiss.
What if you met a friendly changeling? I hope you don't hate me for being a changeling, but I am loyal to Princess Luna.
The attack on Canterlot cemented WCP-398's WCP status. However, it is possible for members of a listed species to be friendly or allies.
After witnessing the changeling attack on Canterlot, I now recall walking through crowds in the past, running across what seemed to be the same pony several times. Is there any reason for me to be paranoid, or are changelings still among us?
Seeing near twins is not a sign of changelings. It is more likely they are from parallel universe, similar enough for ponies with similar genetics.
Adamant, I think that there's something more to Westwood than you think.
Sir Fulldark briefed me of what actions occurred while defending Luna's tower, including what Chief Warrant Officer Manzanita mentioned regarding one Ellie.
Adamant, do you ever felt that there seemed to be more something quite off with Westwood? As in, there's something very suspicious, unusual about his character.
Suspicious.
Suspicious. Like something about him seemed very out of place. Because that's the feeling we've been getting from what we see.
His and my backgrounds are quite different. I rose through enlisted ranks as a ranger before the events that triggered my joining the Watchers. By virtue of his education and training, Westwood started as a warrant officer.
So, Adamant, would it be too invasive to ask what got Westwood upset dealing with the higher WCP levels?
For security purposes, our background files are sealed. I can only surmise the environment that calls for such a curriculum, or what drove Westwood to pursue such a field. I do know he has family and friends that have served in the Watchers and similar organizations. I dare not intrude about Ellie, or what beast would merit a Class 45 rating.
A Class 45? Not even safe to admit those exist.
Oh, wow, I can finally talk now. A Class 45 throat is a force that shows no rhyme nor reason, only insanity. Just staring at it too long may doom you as it tries to spread to other universes. Now, please, before I describe LCP-7391, enough that every pony has nightmares. Can I please drop this and return to normal?
Call CNR! Captain's expulsion spell knocked me out of the city. I'm in the middle of nowhere and a squirrel stole my phone. I'm typing this on an acorn.
Thank you. That's normal enough. Come on, let's go and rescue Canterlot's finest from a tree rat.
Bidden.
Well, somebody's happy.
Vengeance. You guys busy tonight?
To quote a great philosopher, yep.
Vengeance. Are we going out for that drink still?
To quote the same philosopher, nope.
What did you do with the drunken sailor?
I can't believe you wrote me into carriage service.
These citizens were clearly intoxicated, and it was unsafe to leave them unattended.
Yeah, but the royal carriage?
Unfortunately, no other carriages were available.
Hey, look at me, I'm Princess Ruby. Ooh, down with the government. Boo! No, you have to. Love your Princess Ruby.
Fine, but if our royalty back there has a political upheaval, you're cleaning it up, not me.
Political upheaval. You're guarding the archives? Oh my! So much valuable information. Just imagining all that interesting information I can read from. I mean, sorry, I got a little carried away. Have there ever been any reports of anomalies in the form of ponies? And have there been any ponies in possession of power called hernokinesis? Or was it?
Looks like hemokinesis.
Oh, hemokinesis? Controlling blood with your mind?
There are many reported anomaly causes, including ill-advised research. The ability to control and wield one's blood can be quite lethal to the wielder.
And very messy. Don't even think of trying it. We have lots of useful, safer knowledge open to the public in the Canterlot Library.
Do you have Psycho Killer's files, perchance? If not, have you heard of the movie Psycho? Twiz, I'm the archives taking your stuff, Psycho.
The movie is in the media section. Books on that file are in the historical fiction section. Access to either indicates you are in the Canterlot Public Library.
Remember, there's a limit on how many things you can check out, and that those late fees can be a killer.
Stole everything from the vault and replaced your underwear with thongs.
We have underwear?
I suspect you may have raided a clothing store such as Miss Velvet's instead. We will forward your confession to the Solar Guard to handle.
Oh, so we like to go commando.
Dear guards, I got to thank you for answering all these questions. It gave me more than enough time to steal WCP-101 and release it in Canterlot. With friendly greetings, the cat burglar. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh.
I think Dex line is first.
No, yours is first because yours is at the top of the page.
Okay. WCP-101, they're gross, but why?
WCP-101 was declassified and its threat level was reduced to a mere Class 1 after an antidote was discovered and manufactured as a cream.
Wait, did you make sure to not catch it to yourself, or... No, of course not.
Please visit the Canterlot Library for a coupon for a complimentary delousing as well as a spare thong.
You wouldn't mind if I borrow a few of the things you got lying around, would you? No? Well, then, no, your kind donations will not be wasted.
Please, citizens, there are safety reasons for the security in place. While many boast of breaching, few successfully break in, and fewer still survive interactions with the stolen WCP.
Seriously, souls, even armed gangs sustain heavy losses, so they only end up dead unless you're perhaps
Where? And, sirs, some pony over there just ran off with half the documents. Ransacking your stuff now. Chase me. Just like old times. Can you boys still keep up? So let me guess. The chase is on.
All Canterlot units be advised of archive breach in progress. Suspects identified as Crimson Saddles. Leader Wildcard is present. Repeat, is present. Suspects were last seen in Clover Artifact Containment Facility. They are armed and extremely dangerous.
Is it more difficult to fly with those wings, or perhaps easier?
Compared to feathered wings, these wings do not provide as much lift at low speeds. which adds to difficulty.
Once more onto the breach.
This loss, however, is offset by remarkable speed and precision. Hold your wings right, you can leave trails pass without a sound or make a terrifying noise. All good for psyching out the enemy.
Cap, need some support in catching that thief. I have 2 men from the Special Ops armed with tasers that should be able to catch the thief if you can't.
Let's see. Make sure everything's in the right order. Yeah. The offer is much appreciated, Commander. Be advised, Captain Nathariel reports suspect has shown exceptionally high electric resistance in the past, and tasers may be insufficient.
That report also talks about pastries in conflict resolution. It's a fun read.
What do you know about the terrorist organization known as Shadow Bolts? I hear they have a significant interest in WCPs. I wouldn't find it surprising if they decide to raid the vaults in Canterlot at, I don't know, tonight?
The Shadow Bolts of old were a force serving HRH Luna before the rise of WCP-314, and became part of the Wonder Bolts. They were never terrorists.
Besides, tonight's guests are the Crimson Saddles. They're not the type to play second fiddle to any pony.
What would the punishment be if I were to, teleport into the archives and steal some?
As long as you return it and haven't destroyed a question, no harm, no foul. I'll leave the crime and punishment to the day guards.
Canterlot Library does offer a drop slot by which one can surrender any artifacts anonymously for this reason.
So many attacks and attempts of attacks involving mostly non-important stuff happening in such a small span of time. Guys, are you sure it wasn't a diversion to keep your attention away from something big?
That number of tries is actually normal, and even if it's a diversion, the Clover facility is big enough a target.
Our primary goal is to prevent further artifact loss, and possibly persuade Mr. Wildcard to surrender artifacts already in his possession.
Ever had to protect the archive using deadly force?
Lethal force on ponies is a last resort that fortunately I have never needed. Even WCP-3908 did not merit such violence.
You're lucky to never use lethal force. The only pony I know that could non-lethally grab a card unharmed is...
Chief Warrant.
Officer Manzanita? Manzanita.
Effing night guards. Good evening, gentle colts, and please, you don't need to be so formal. Just Manzanita is fine.
Yes, ma'am, Manzanita. I shall notify the day guard.
Yes, Nana, ma'am.
How often do you guys go off duty to do some things with your family and friends? Westwood, dear, your sister sent me a letter. We should visit for a family outing. Instagram.
Nana.
You get a pie if you look the other way while I raid the palace fridge.
Bread knife.
Sweet cream pastry ponies steal from the kitchen at own risk. Are you aware that the Soul Blade has a twin? Bread knife. Darn it. Bread knife, chef's knife. Cake knife, class 15 sword. So, you seem to have the soul-devouring demon blade, but what of its crystalline twin created to destroy it? Cake knife, class 15 sword. Empty space reserved for pie knife. You recently accepted an enchanted weapon from Merryweather that once belonged to me. What do you intend to do with it? I sincerely hope you don't do something careless. Dish towel rack, carelessly mounted. Dish towel, dish towel, dish towel. Attention all units! Someone who has cleverly disguised himself as what seems to be a toaster has been seen breaking into Baker's. Suspect is likely armed and dangerous. Watch out for incoming food utensils. Vegetable knife, carefully thrown. I dug up a toaster in my backyard and it had an on button. So obviously out of curiosity pressed it. Now it won't shut up about incinerating the world and stuff. Have you guys ever had to deal with an artificial being that you can talk about, created through use of technology, robots, clones, alchemy, homunculus, or magic golems? And if so, how are they classified? Are all considered dangerous or are some deemed harmless? Thieving toaster, armless and harmless.